Hello and welcome back to the Random Show episode number 30, part 2. Hopefully this one hangs around longer than the other one. I run into some technical difficulties that resulted in this stream dying 3 times. One for a copyright strike, I think, with the Jim Brewer stuff. Another one for something I probably done, which I don't remember. And now we're back here. So hopefully this should hang around longer than the previous ones. Now I've got all that fluff out of the way, so anyone that wanted to just listen to the last 20 minutes of the TigerBelly show is going to be in for luck or in for a good time, because that's what I'm going to concentrate on, and hopefully the rest of the stuff can move on in some sort of, pace that makes sense, because god damn it, this was annoying me. I'm not going to lie. This was annoying me. I wasn't able to flip and make this work, but hopefully everything's working now. Hopefully have some people coming in. Let's just make sure the chat is going well. Check it on my phone. Make sure everything is fine here. But yeah, everyone is here. Naming the waters. And if you know what, also, this is a testament to my new machine, that I'm able to just restart up and get it going. Because if you remember my old computer I had before, when it went down, it went down. And this wasn't because of a computer error. This was all extenuating circumstances. I streamed a flipping comedy set from Just for Laughs, which obviously wasn't a good idea. And then secondly, my Wi-Fi decided to cut out for whatever reason. Damn them. I should have probably had a wide connection. It still maybe is my fault. But here we are. Still standing strong, still going. Big up everybody in the chat. Big up everyone that's hanging on in there. Sorry if I ended up losing some people, but the game is the game. It is what it is. We have to just keep moving in it. We have to just keep moving. So, talking about testament. Naming the waters, naming the Bible verses, naming the chapters, all that good stuff. You know how it is, isn't it? Oh, mate, you know how it is. We're all here, ready to go, man. Let's continue on. So, as I was saying before, I was rudely interrupted by my Wi-Fi cutting out. I'm going to play this clip taken from the Dillon show, where he speaks about Schaub and his lack of understanding as to why this guy is deciding to do stand-up when he could do anything else in the world. And I think it's a really interesting clip. So I'm going to play that again, and we're going to go from the start. I'm not going to pause or interrupt it, and we're going to try and finish this as quickly as possible. I'm going to take the thing off the screen too, so you can see yourself in the chat, because obviously it's white text. But let's just start this and see if this works.
And what are you going to do, right? We're not going to spend the whole episode. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Dillon Patreon episode here in California, sunny California, coming out tonight. It's Thursday. Recorded with Luis Gomez today. Fun episode. Do you think people will get angry?
I think people are going to love it.
Yeah, but what?
But do I think the LA comedy scene will be mad? Is that your question?
Yes.
Perhaps.
Why? Why?
Some things were just said about the LA comedy scene. You and Lewis don't bullshit when it comes to that stuff.
Well, I mean, listen, everybody can hate everybody and love everybody, and that's what that is, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think the good thing about the episode is, we can't listen. We can't pretend that the Gringo Poppy is a good comedy special, right? Like, I like Brendan as a person. People get mad at me. They're like, "You're sitting on the fence." I'm like, I'm not sitting on the fence on that fact. Yeah, it does not bring the pain. But Brendan's trying to be a comedian. I don't know why. I don't know why a guy who's an Adonis who could just fuck women and kill men would want to live the life of the fucking jester. And me and Lewis kind of talk about that. And again, it's just it's puzzling to me, right? Does he love comedy? Does Brendan genuinely love comedy?
I don't think so.
I mean, he
doesn't seem like a guy that grew up listening.
What
to
if I tried to be a
Picks.
model?
Mm-hmm.
What if I tried to be a model? Like, what if the biggest model in the world was my friend and said I should model? And then I started modeling. And then the other models were like, "Why are you modeling?" And I'm like, "Well, people like when I model." And they go, "Okay, but it's not really modeling." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" They're like, "Well, it's just, this is not, you're not like a model. Like, did you always want to be a model?" And I'm like, yeah, I've always loved models. They go, yeah, but that's a little different, right? Did you always, like, what about you would want to be a model? And I'm just like, well, I'm just eating like nachos. And I go, well, I'm trying to be a model and it's hard. And it's like, it's kind of that where it's like, you know, it's an interesting thing. But since Rogan left, LA podcast, the podcast scene here has kind of collapsed. And what are you going to do, right? We're not going to spend the whole episode talking about this because it doesn't affect anyone and it's kind of silly. I just hope nobody's offended. That's all, because we never. I mean, we're never trying to offend anyone.
We don't dislike anyone.
No, but no, you know what? That no one cares about that. You know, I say that all the time too. We don't dislike anyone. We also don't like anyone. So you know, and you know what I mean? Like this whole idea of I don't dislike people, it doesn't mean anything.
Sure.
You know, and
That's a
I
good
say
point.
that too. It's not your fault.
Yeah.
You're parroting kind of the thing I say all the time, where I go, we don't like anyone, but no one cares. Nobody can, like, I'm like, we don't dislike anyone. That's not comforting. You know what I mean? To anyone. You know, that no one cares. That's not like a qualifier that matters to anybody. When you go, yeah, I don't dislike anyone. I don't really like anyone either. They're all, you know, we're all just in our own lane driving down a highway, you know, watching other, you know, people and seeing what else it is. But listen, a lot of people don't like stand up. People don't like my stand up. My special's coming out. People are going to go, I don't like that. It's fine. It is what it is. You know, I mean, what are you going to do? There's not much, you know, that you can do about that. I think far too many people are, you know, LA, you know, somebody brought up a good point to me. They go, the LA podcast scene, it's become a bad reality show that nobody cares about. And that's why, you know, people are losing interest in it, I think, rapidly. So that's why what we try to do is different, and hopefully the shit we talk about affects people in a positive way, in a sense that it makes them happy or laugh. And, you know, I mean, you know, because we're not like, I'm not invested in this scene at all. I don't care if we do this show from Florida. I don't care if we do it from Texas. I don't care if we do it from New York. I don't feel like I even live here. You know, I came here from New York. I've been an outsider. None of these people showed me any respect until Rogan had me on. It's a fact. None of them looked at me in the eye or talked to me except Bert. Bert had me on before the show.
Yeah.
Bert had me on. But he thought I was Fortune Feimster, but it still counts. But yeah, so I mean, it's not, again, I'll repeat the meaningless horseshit. I don't dislike it. But yeah, this is all just what it is, right? I mean, let's not romanticize this and make this into something that it isn't. We're all just kind of out here, but this ain't nothing. This ain't a community. This is not a scene, even though I use the word scene because there's no other word. This is a loose association of people that don't care about each other and frankly like to watch each other crash and burn. That's really what it is. People who get a lot of pleasure out of watching watching their lives become unmanageable. That's really what it is. It's not at all any type of family, or there's very little camaraderie. Nobody hangs out with each other. People barely know each other. And that's what kind of shocked me when I came out here. You know, in New York, people hang out with each other. They talk to each other. They go over each other's houses for barbecues. Here you come out and you realize that nobody really does anything with each other. Nobody sees each other outside of being on the show. That's it. So, I mean, you know.
So that's where we're going to end it quickly. And just some quick points to pull from this, which I mentioned previously. Number one, which I said beforehand, before the podcast, you know, rudely flipping cut off because of my crappy Wi-Fi. Why is Brendan doing this? Why is he putting himself through this when he's clearly making a bucket load of cash via podcasting? I mentioned it previously, but someone on the Fire Kid subreddit leaked how much the ad buys are on the Fire and the Kid. I think it might have been maybe King and the Sting only, but still, let's imagine that those rates are the same across the Fire and the Kid, and the rates were anywhere between 5 to 20k per ad buy. So if you're a company that was selling, let's say, staplers, you would have to pay anywhere between 5 to 20k to get them to read your ads for, I don't know, whatever set amount of time you want on their podcast. I think some of it was like 3 drops, you know, per episode, which is crazy. And they usually have quite a lot of different companies that advertise on there, from a pillow thing to something about sleeping to, you know, mental health or the better help stuff. So they clearly are raking in loads of money through that, loads of money through AdSense and all that good stuff, and anything else that comes off the back of it. So if that's the case, and you're making all that, and you're doing 3 shows per week, plus the other things he's doing with King of the Sting and the other shows he's doing, and Blow the Belt and all this, not Blow the Belt, the Food Truck Diaries, why put yourself through stand up? Especially when you have to do the expenses, you have to pay people. It just doesn't make any sense. And plus, it seems like all comedians are really bitchy and backstabby and stuff. It just doesn't make any sense why he'd want to do it. But then also someone mentioned in the chat that, oh, it probably is a money thing, because clearly he's got some crazy expenses, right? He has to flip in, he's got flipping loads of luxury cars. He has clearly a wife that maybe has some sort of expensive taste. He has 2 kids. He's probably putting through private school. It's not cheap to kind of live his life. I'd imagine his monthly bills are absolutely insane that he has to clear. So maybe that's the reason. Or maybe it's narcissism. Maybe he just wants to be the person on stage, getting all the adulation. Maybe it's similar to, maybe it kind of fills that hole of not being a professional athlete, where, essentially professional athlete, kind of all eyes are on you. So maybe the next thing down from doing that, if you can't DJ and you can't, sing, or you can't use an instrument or play an instrument, sorry, the next best thing is to get on stage and tell dick's jokes. Maybe that's the thing. The other thing that I thought was interesting too was what Tim Dillon said about the people, about the LA comedy scene or community not being a community or scene at all. That's very enlightening, and I think we're seeing a lot of it now ever since Joe Rogan left. It seems like when Joe Rogan was around, everyone played nice. Everyone pretended they were friends, or at least friends with who Joe was friends with, to give the illusion that things were good, which why I feel like those things that Brendan or used to say all the time, how good's the Comedy Store right now, it was only good for him at that time because he was friends with Joe Rogan. They were pulling up to the Comedy Store in their flashy cars, playing their own shows, shooting the shit in the parking lot after the show, getting some food, hanging out, doing each other podcasts and making each other rich and successful and famous. And in the moment the big dog stepped away from it, everything imploded. But it's also funny, I think, what he said about no one showing him respect until Joe Rogan gave him the stamp of approval is interesting, because you would imagine Tim Dillon's personality and how he goes on, he'd be kind of a perfect fit for those type of people over there. But clearly some of them maybe felt a little bit threatened by his presence, that he might take over, which he basically clearly did, because he ended up being now, Joe's basically new favorite comedian to have on his show because of how flipping crazy and off the, and basically how he basically shoots from the hip all the time. Maybe that's the whole point of it. But clearly those suspicions that you had about people not really vibing for him were basically well-founded. And then it also reminded me a little bit of my own history, where I realized very quickly when I was kind of coming up in the streetwear sneaker industry or streetwear sneaker scene here in the UK, a scene that I was obsessed with from the minute I've, bought my first kind of limited edition shoe, and the minute I bought my first piece of Supreme clothing when I was like 15 or something. I remember quite clearly how crappy some of the store assistants in our really famous streetwear and skateboarding stores here in the UK, especially in London, would treat you, especially someone like me, being a black kid from the ends. There wasn't a lot of us that kind of went into shots, but forget the black thing. It was mostly just a cool thing. They felt like they were cooler than you, so they'd always kind of vibe you out of the store and make you feel less than. You couldn't touch things, you couldn't ask questions, or they wouldn't even answer sometimes if you asked a question. And I remember distinctly how quickly their tunes changed to me. I would shop there between ages between 15 and 18 on my own, and then suddenly I was able to get a little internship at this really cool up and coming streetwear brand that used to exist here in the UK called 12 Bar. They then moved across to LA for a bit, but I don't think they're around anymore. But I was doing internship for this brand called 12 Bar, and one of the founders was really friendly with all the big people in LA in terms of streetwear people, like I know Bobby Hundreds and all those type of people. They came over and they visited us when we were working over there, and I remember distinctly how different those guys in those stores acted when Bobby Hundreds visited London, and the founder of 12 Bar took me and Bobby Hundreds around the shops and out for some dinner and some drinks after. So we went and visited all the same shops that were used to give me the cold shoulder, and the way that they were sucking me off like Gluck Gluck 3000, you would have thought I was fucking Jamie Foxx the way they were flipping going after me. But clearly it was because I was getting the ultimate cosign with the person I was coming in the room with. And from that moment on, it gave me the flipping determination to just make sure I was successful so that I could have these very same people flipping licking the floor that I was walking on, because I realized right then, it wasn't a matter of talent. It wasn't a matter of what can you bring to the community or scene. It was just who are you friends with, and that was how they basically would gauge their friendships with people. And I think it was completely horrible, and it really turned me off to it in general. So that might also be the reason why Tim has gone so aggressive with his Patreon and basically doing his own thing, because he doesn't really partake in the LA comedy scene at all. He's not really part of the Austin scene anymore. He just wanders around doing shows, staying in fancy hotels, shouting at flipping Ben on the podcast and just living a good life, innit? And that might be because of how ostracized and how mistreated he felt with the LA comedy scene and whatnot. Obviously for him it's worked out, but I think in general, now we know, since this whole Brendan thing has kind of blown up, that whole comedy family thing they tried to make it seem as they were all friends and stuff was never true. They were only friends because Rogan was around and everyone wanted to be pally with Rogan. So by proxy, you'd have to be pally with Brendan and Bryan. The moment Rogan left and those guys got accused of diddling, one of them got accused of rape and whatnot, it gave everybody an excuse to just not talk to them anymore because they probably didn't like them in the first place. Anyway, that was it. So let's move on. That ramble was enough. I gave you a bit of my life story. I complained about stuff. I made it about me a little bit, because clearly when you do a podcast, the best thing you got to do is make it about you. So let's play this as well. This is funny too. Real quick, define bullying. I thought this clip was absolutely hilarious. I'm going to play this. This is courtesy of the Fighting the Kids subreddit too. I thought this is flipping awesome. Let's get this up on the screen. Define bullying. Honestly, that define bullying line might go down in podcast history in terms of line of the century. You know what I mean? Define bullying. But anyway, let's just play this clip quickly.
Hey, will you clear bullying meaning? Define bullying for me. Like what?
We got an email.
Oh yeah, what's it about?
Well, I guess your story about spitting in a guy's face and throwing him through a plate glass window.
Whoa! Go ahead, Bryan.
I guess Luke Dennis wrote a
Great
very
name.
eloquent email. Said he was pretty surprised by the story you told last week about the incident you had with your former college roommate. The message you sent by eating and throwing out his food was, "I'm going to eat your shit and disrespect you, and there isn't a goddamn thing you can do about it. Fuck you."
But my thing with that, Clyde, do you think that's nice?
Oh no.
And then you further disrespected this guy on the most personal level by telling his mother to fuck off.
I'm just saying, is that nice? That's all.
And then you criticize him for calling the cops. You mentioned that.
Federal investigators
I said
considering
they're not feds.
Okay, let's say
covered that.
but you if
cops.
If that is
The cop said, "What? Fuck out of here." They really did.
And then he goes on to say, you mentioned that you told your teammates, you said, I'm good at telling stories. That was a subtle admission that you spun the story in your favor and manipulated your teammates to turn on this guy and take your side.
that you were telling Rogan, Whitney, Schultz, anyone with an ear, slanderous things about me, that I was a gold-digging whore, stealing money from Bobby, because God forbid I make my own money, that you hired a private investigator who was able to incriminate me for 6 years of Reddit harassment.
Story like, oh my God, Brendan bullied a guy. First of all,
yes, and by the way,
the
just
context is
one caveat really quick. He just said, I wrote this because there are thousands of young men listening to you, and he said, you might have been setting the wrong example or giving the wrong message.
he's wrong on that,
Right.
because if you look at the context, I was saying how to deal with a certain situation.
Yes.
Everyone this day and age wants to get lawyers involved, call their mom, call their parents,
Yes.
21 years old, Division I athletes.
Yes.
They want to include all this paperwork and not deal with it man to man. I have it all on my phone. The reason I can't send it to you because the ongoing investigation. Now, as far as me being a bully, there's no bully here. I don't have allergies year round. I was allergic to cats.
Wow. As someone else mentioned in the chat, his face has changed considerably. But it's also interesting to see that all the little telltale signs that he has where he clearly doesn't get when people are trying to basically alert him to maybe some bullshit that he might have done. I remember this episode. I remember this was, to me, one of the other signs of the beginning to the end, because when that original story, when he said it, it sounded really weird how he got so aggressive and so angry because his roommate didn't want to share food. Don't get me wrong. when you're staying with somebody and they do that thing where they label their food or they cover it or they hide it, it's annoying, right? Sometimes you go on a holiday with friends and you realize that they're that person who only buys snacks for them, don't buy them doesn't buy, and doesn't let you even have some, or always kind of goes out and gets their own stuff and doesn't ask you if you want something. Like those little weird things that you find out about your friends only when you live with them. It's annoying, don't get me wrong, but everyone's got their way. Everyone's got their way of kind of dealing with things and moving around. It's not a bad thing. And for him to get so angry to the point where he wants to spit in the guy's face and throw him through a glass window was absolutely incredibly OTT. And clearly a sign of him being a piece of shit back in the day, right? But he clearly tried to paint it, or tried to frame the narrative, as he likes to say, in a way of like, oh, it's just two guys kind of, sorting out the differences. Like, no, you sorted out his differences. You didn't sort him out anything. And it's quite clear that was how his stance was. So it's funny to see him be that guy back then, but then be this guy here saying, define bullying. Do you think it's nice? And trying to put his hands in his chest and to feign compassion and sincerity and her and whatnot. It's like, come on, man, we know who you are. You know who you are, really, too. This whole game you're trying to play where you're the victim is gross as hell. Absolutely gross. But, what can we do? But yeah, it is mad to see the difference in his physical appearance over the years, isn't it? Even Brian kind of probably looks the same, but Brendan definitely looks different as a human in it since then. He's definitely more bloated in the face. He's obviously not as slim. He definitely doesn't work out as much as he says. Because back then he used to be annoying back then. He used to always talk about working out and being on diets and stuff. But clearly he was looking after himself excessively. And as you can see, look in his hand, he's got a coffee cup instead of a glass of vodka at 7 a.m. in the morning. So clearly this is a whole different person than what he's turned out to be now. I wonder if he wishes he could be this person again, or whether or not he just prefers to be this guy. I wonder, but who knows? Moving on, should we get to the main chunk of the story? Yeah, let's get to the main chunk of the story. Let's get to the reason why all of you are here right now. So, as you guys know, I've been covering this whole shambolic affair with Brendan Schaub and Annie Lederman and Kalila from TigerBelly and now Bobby Lee and Bryan Called. I've been covering this thing from the very beginning. And I did do one of the last updates was when Brendan went on TigerBelly to try to explain away or to rationalize why he decided it was a good idea to put out some news or to suggest the idea that TigerBelly were behind the Firing the Kid subreddit. It's an absolutely preposterous suggestion to put out there, but for whatever reason, he thought the best way to counteract people getting at him for sliding into Kalila's DMs and for allegedly offering Annie a drug walk, he thought the best way to kind of counteract it was to get his crackpot team of BlackRock operatives to infiltrate Reddit and to find a user who allegedly on there is doing some sort of pedophile stuff, doing some sort of harassment things, and is now also have evidence of them being one of the major trolls on the Firing the Kid subreddit, who's kind of put out some bad stuff about him and his family, threatened his sponsors, and all this other nonsense. To me personally, if you ask me, I think it's all complete bullshit. I don't think that those files that he's talking about exist, or if they do, whoever he's hired has clearly swindled him and just given him files that look like they're bad or look like they're worse than what they are, but they're actually just transcripts of people writing on the forum. I don't think it's anything what he's been suggesting it is. But anyway, I reacted to it. I reacted to the audio portion of the show. So now the video portion has come out. We're not going to go from the start again because it was too long. I ended up doing a 2-hour flipping stream about this. So we're just going to do the last 20 minutes of the show. I'm going to pause it from time to time. If you're upset about me pausing it, you're going to have to suck it up. Unfortunately, this is a stream. I'm going to have to comment on it here and there. I'll try not to do it too often, but if you want to watch it yourself, you can. Obviously the episode link, the episode title's there. Brendan Schaub's Spectacle Extravaganza. You can find it on the TigerBelly channel, and you could check it out yourself if you want to watch it. But we're going to watch it together. I'm going to pause here and there. Please forgive me if I pause too much, but it is what it is. Let's go.
We have someone that somehow got a hold and hacked us. We just want to know for ourselves if we
Right.
were
And
hacked.
you should.
But that's why it's very important we see these.
Here's my thing. I'm not accusing anybody in here. But let's say in some weird world, it's somebody that you know, you're associating, you had no idea it was happening. I still don't give a shit. I just want to stop.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay.
Okay.
That's the only reason.
That's
I'm
what.
You hear that? Whoever is the incel living in my backyard doing
Nick?
this.
All right, so
They
let's
ear.
do a new segment.
Hang on. I'm not. I have.
segment.
I
Oh
have
wait,
curiosity.
Kalia, last thing.
Yeah.
So when you said I flew to Austin and tell Rogan about this,
Yeah, that's my next question.
no, can I cover
Yeah,
this?
yeah.
Flew to Rogan to do his show.
Okay.
This is aside from that.
Okay. Copy.
And,
that makes sense.
And I want you to know, as I look you in the eye, when I would tell them, I would preface with every time I go, I don't think Bob and Kyle are involved. The TigerBelly email is on there.
Okay. And
Every single time. Never, ever, and I swear on my kids, never went, Kyle is your goal.
Sorry, I have to stop it here. Isn't it quite bitch made to go over to Austin anyway and go and cry and complain about an issue that you created? Regardless if he didn't say anything super incriminating, he didn't say anything super disrespectful, he didn't say anything that was, heavily blaming them. Just going and crying and complaining to Daddy Rogan is really, really, really gross. And I think I said it in the previous podcast, but this definitely does illustrate or definitely does put some credence or definitely stamps fact on the matter that a lot of people on the Fire and the Kids subreddit was saying back in the day, where they used to say, oh, all Brendan does is go and run onto Daddy Rogan. This is clearly evidence that he definitely does when he's got problems with people in the scene, whether it's, do you remember the time when he got, he was complaining, or he said some story in a podcast about, what's his face? Who was it? I think it was, what's his fucking name, man? The guy that's really deadpan and his delivery, white dude that does comedy. I remember he mentioned a story where he was doing a set at the same time as him, and that guy went on stage after his set and basically ripped him. And I think he went to Joe and complained about it or something, like crying. So he's got some previous for doing that type of thing. Really strange.
Old digger, none of it.
Can we just do a new segment real quick?
so,
And
but-
you can
but-
still talk in the new segment.
Go ahead.
Right? New segment.
That's it. That's the.
Yeah.
That was
I
your-
just need to do it. I have OC.
That was your
OCD.
tension breaker?
Yeah,
was
yeah,
that?
yeah.
but
George
overall,
laughed. That's all I wanted. George laughed.
overall with the timeline of
But then also when you went to, so you got to remember too, Rogan's like an older brother to me. When I do anything, I call Rogan. That's how I operate.
Right.
Yeah.
I asked his advice on this, right? And then he would give me his advice how I should handle it. But then the other stuff's hiring a private investigator. I don't know where the fuck you'd find a private investigator. And just the same when you go, I mean, I would handle it like this. As far as a private investigator for what? What the fuck would I hire a private investigator to follow you to do what?
I
They
have a
make sense.
question.
So that's what bothers me. Whoever got that back to you,
multiple people corroborating each other's stories, but go ahead. Okay, but whatever you told him about me, whether it was how
This is the reason why this guy lost this whole interaction. Clearly what Kalila is saying is true. Clearly he did go and tell multiple people about this and say it was all their fault and whatnot. Clearly, because she's saying multiple people has told me the story and it's all corroborating, right? It's all kind of links. The facts check out. And he's still denying it. You're here now. Everything's been blown up. I think she said before, she makes a point where she says that she thinks that Brendan underestimated how many people would kind of relay the information back to her. So I'm gonna think from back in the day, Brendan's always had this really private and somewhat sincere and somewhat kind of, brotherly, sisterly relationship with these comedians who he could kind of go to in confidence and kind of snitch on people about without again back to them that it was him that did it. But I guess because people genuinely like Bobby Lee and they genuinely like Kalila and they think they're awesome people and they love their podcast, love them as humans, they were looking out for them and relaying back what Brendan did. Or maybe because of the stuff that's happened with Annie and all that other stuff, Brendan's not in anyone's good graces behind the scenes. And people are like, nah, just let him kind of wither away in public. So they're kind of going out their way to just let everybody know, nah, like, if he says this, I'm going to let you know. But that's really interesting, their point. Even when he's presented with an opportunity to just own up and be like, yeah, I fucked up, I did tell them this, he still doesn't take it.
Or whatever version you have in your
And
head that what you told him.
we can call those people after this and confirm my story.
Oh, 1,000% would love to.
If that makes you feel better.
It does make me feel better.
Yeah, we can do. As soon
If
as we're
you-
done with this, we will call those 3 people.
1,000%.
Yep.
Anyways, would love that. Would love nothing more. When you did tell Rogan your version of events, I just want to know for my own peace of mind, did he believe it?
I don't know. To him, it's like, you're never gonna beat the internet, man. I mean,
No, regarding me and Bobby.
no, because I told him it's not you guys.
Okay, but everything else regarding the information that got back to me is that you told Rogan things, obviously, that were very slanderous about me. I want to believe that wasn't the case.
In all of this stuff, right? There's still, people, like the telephone thing, right?
Yes,
Like
he
things
gave a
get,
telephone.
yeah,
That's why I'm saying if I redo it, I
things get changed
called her
through
directly.
other people's communications to others, right? You know what I mean? Some things are not easily proven. You know what I mean? It's he said, she said, and all that stuff. So it's like, I think in terms of what we talked about in this last hour, right, is we got all of it out, right?
Not yet.
There's more.
Go ahead. Maybe you got it out. I was.
No, well, I mean, I'm sitting here listening to it,
Yeah.
right? Because what I want to spend time with now.
Quick one. Kalila is a goat. Thank God Kalila was there. She was the goat. She held Brendan's feet to the fire. She also ensured Bobby didn't squirm away because he clearly doesn't like confrontation and he's clearly very uneasy about the whole entire thing. If there was a hole in front of Bobby Leeds he could jump in and disappear into, he would have jumped into it ages ago. But I like that Kalila kept him there, even though it was uncomfortable and he clearly didn't want to be there. And she also kept going at Brendan, didn't stop. She basically made this. Without her, this podcast would have been an absolute shambles.
Now is getting to a place where we can move forward from it, right?
Yeah, I don't.
And we create new rules. You know what I mean? I mean that was what the segment was really called, new rules.
Oh,
but,
new rules.
Try it.
That's a Bill Maher.
And that's why I didn't do it. That's why I said new
Oh.
segment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's why I did the new. You said you new segment again, or
Yeah, but let's.
Don't.
I'll do it different. I'll do it different.
Brainstorm?
I'll just do it. No, just do it. I'll just.
No.
All right.
All right, let's get back on track.
No, so here's what I want to do now. Okay. Sorry, my bad. New rules. New rules. How from now on, this is how we're gonna move forward. Okay. Can we do that now?
You can have your rules of how you're going to move forward, but I have my own stipulations too. But
That's
go
all right.
ahead.
I'm not the ruler of this thing.
Yeah.
Slept.
Kind of am, but I kind of am. But here's what I want to do moving forward. Okay. I'm going to look you in the eyes when I say this. Okay. I would never slander you, attack you, or in any shape or form online or to my friends or on podcasts, right? You and I have, our relationship has changed from this
100%.
experience.
Yeah, unfortunately.
It's going to take me I don't know how long,
Me neither.
right? So,
Bobby's a better guy than me. Bobby is a better guy than me. He really is. He's a better guy than me, man. What other man would be comfortable even sitting down with a guy who slid in the DMs of their wife or their girlfriend? Especially long term, the one that you're kind of building an empire with, the one that you maybe see a future with, regardless of what their relationship is. And again, I saw people on the TigerBelly Red subreddit. I see people on the Fire and the Kids subreddit talking about Kalila and whether or not she's into some kinky shit, like doing. It doesn't matter what she's into sexually. I don't care what they're into romantically. If Bobby Lee is a cuck on her, I do not care. That's not important here. What's important is obviously that he knew that they were together. They're comedic peers. Bobby Lee's an OG too, so if he sees Joe Rogan as an older brother, he should see Bobby Lee as an older brother too. And he violated that trust between them and their group by sliding into the DMs. No other person will be comfortable doing this. So the fact that Bobby Lee's doing this in the first place and he's being so cool and so cool, not cool, so chill and cool about it, says a lot about him as a person. And it also really exposes Brendan, because let's say the shoe is on the other foot. Let's run that experiment. Let's run that thought experiment. You know how you said, define bullying? Let's try and imagine a scenario where, let's say, Theo Vaughn decided to slide in the DMs of Brendan Schaub's girl or Mrs. or wife, whatever, right? The people that on a subreddit refer to the Mexican, Joanna. Imagine they slid into her DMs. What do you think Brendan will be like? How do you think he would react? Or let's say Bryan Called, if somebody slid into the DMs of his girl, not the new one, but his wife that he was with previously, who used to speak about all the time on the podcast. Just imagine how he'd react. What do you reckon their reaction would be regarding all of that? It wouldn't be as cool as these guys would be. Kalila is being the only one that's being confrontational, and she isn't even being confrontational. She's still being quite measured because she knows her guy has to still work with these people and be in that kind of environment. She doesn't want to burn all the bridges or put him in an awkward position. But this could have ended really badly for Brendan. And I'm sure if the shoe was on the other foot, he would not have been this gracious. He would not have been this kind. No way. No way, no way.
There's some engagements that I know I'm going to run into you. You know what I mean? That's in the near future.
I think we feel the same. I don't feel safe. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
don't
Around
feel.
Bobby?
No, well, it's not even. I don't feel good.
Yeah, I don't feel good either.
I don't feel.
Oh, that's why we're doing this.
We probably have that feeling in common.
You see you see what happened there? He went to play the victim first, I don't feel safe. Then he got laughed at and he changed it to I don't feel good. But he went to say I don't feel safe. Imagine a former UFC heavyweight saying I don't feel safe to Bobby Lee and Kalila. Absolute redacted.
You have that same thing.
I
don't feel
feel
good either.
pretty
When you
cruddy
called me on
myself.
Saturday right before I got on stage, can be the worst time to do it.
Yeah.
Not your fault. You have no idea.
Yeah,
I was like, yeah, I'm about to go on. What's up? And you're like, I heard this. I was like, I want to die. I'll see you later.
yeah.
But when you told me that, I know that feeling. And I
Yeah.
was like, holy shit. I am so sorry you feel that way.
I'm also going to
I feel that way.
co-sign what he said, which is, I hardly know you. I'm very much a very simple, boring person. I like to free dive in the ocean. I like to hang out with my dogs.
not boring.
I certainly don't spend my days in a dark dungeon typing away things about you. I would never want to intentionally hurt anybody. I don't even do that to people I dislike. I just don't do that, Brendan.
Yeah, I think it was the perfect storm, which is why I got so upset with the trash talking on your other podcasts, and then this.
Did you
team
feel
tells
like we
me
were
this.
coming for you? Is that what you felt like? Oh fuck! Like
No, I
are
don't
they
think
trying
you were
to
coming
get
for me. I just literally was like, oh, because I don't do that at all. I'm like, I don't get it. Why the? I don't.
Okay, guys,
Why would they do
we're
that?
doing. This is the new segment. So
Why?
I don't do what? You see, still, I'm really, again, I said before, I'm really curious as to why he doesn't just admit that the Annie Lederman thing happened. But then, one of the theories I put out there before was that maybe the reason why he doesn't want to say the Annie Lederman thing happened or admit it is because that might be the one thing that his wife has said, if that's true, I'm leaving you. And I remember somebody making a comment on one of my videos before. They said that he doesn't have a prenup, and supposedly the LA marriage things, if you get divorced or whatnot, is brutal if you don't have a prenup. So he might have to give up half or whatever he's got, right? So maybe that's the reason why he's being so hesitant and trying to skirt around the Annie thing, because what irked him most was the Annie thing, because Annie went hard. She said, I'm not going to suck your unfunny dick. Yeah, I mean, she buried him. What Clara said was, just an occurrence that they had 7 years ago. It's still scummy, but that I don't think was a really thing that touched him. I think what Annie said touched him. Plus, Annie's very well regarded, from what I know, looking from the outside in of podcasters. Like, people love Annie Lederman. Like, she's generally funny. She's a good podcaster and stuff. People think she's going to be the next one coming up, bloody blah, blah, blah. So I think when she said that, that really triggered him. And also, that's a really bad thing, because that's something that probably happened quite recently, because he's known Bobby Lee and Clyde longer. So it's easy to say, oh, that thing happened in the past. It was just a DM. You can lie about that easier, but it's hard to lie and to make the trug walk thing sound not as bad as it does sound, innit? It's very difficult to do it. It's very, very difficult to make trug walk sound innocent. Because he said, remember he said the other day, is she mad because I tried to give her a lift home or something, a ride or something, a ride. You went there to ride your flipping Nino, probably not a ride home. Let's be real about that.
I was just telling the, like,
But I made the announcement.
Train of thought.
I went.
yeah.
I did that whole
Yeah.
thing, right? So my point is that I don't want to revert back to the hour chunk that we did.
Yeah.
I want to go more into a positive, direction.
do.
Okay. So let me finish what I'm saying.
Yes.
Okay. So that being said, it's I don't feel safe as well. You know what I mean? But I want to tell you that in terms of you as a comedian or in terms of you as a podcaster, I have all the respect in the world. I think that, and I say this to Theo sometimes too, he went from reality show MTV to becoming a real credible comedy entity, and I feel the same about you. So, and that's how I'll always feel.
And that means the world.
Okay,
The
so
world, because I think you're one of the best comics in the world,
okay,
Bobby.
all right.
Always
So,
have.
so when it comes to that, I'm just telling you.
I think you're one of the best comics in the world, and I also want to fuck your girl. What a compliment. What a compliment.
Whatever you hear, right? I'm not doing that. You know what I mean? I'm not.
Play Stardew Valley.
I play
like
Stardew Valley 12 hours a day. You know what I mean? I don't, and I watch Dodo like in the squirrels when they.
Is that a video game? that you
No,
play
it's
12
Yes.
hours?
Stardew Valley's right
It's a
here.
video
But
game.
did you turn off my thing? Because I don't want to restart the day. Okay, good. Thank you. Anyway, I was playing earlier. My point. So from now.
This is his first day.
yeah.
This show should be
Yeah.
fun, man. I
Right.
promise the job gets better. It's only up from here, Bubba.
And I also want to. I also want to address the fans, and there's because obviously we both have similar fans, but we have fans. That only listen to your podcast, and we have fans that only listen to Bad Friends and TigerBelly, and so on and so forth. Right? There is no war, right? There are no sides to this, right?
That's why I'm here.
Yeah, that's why I just want everyone to calm down online, right? And that's why we're doing this is so that we can all kind of, and there is just last thing I want to say is
No, there is a side, Bobby. There are sides. There's right and wrong. What he did was wrong. The spinning narrative that he's a victim is wrong. The bullying and the intimidation of you was wrong. The threatening of your career was wrong. The telling Kalila in a roundabout way or telling you to tell Kalila to get in line or to get your bitch in line was wrong. The insinuating that Kalila's a whore and that's why it's justified that he did what he did, or to explain away that you're part of the Reddit thing and you're the one that flipping started the Find a Kid Reddit. That's the Find a Kid subreddit and the hate around it. That's all wrong. There's right and there's wrong. It is what it is. Maybe some would say if you wanted to be really over cynical, if you really wanted to nitpick, you could say maybe Kalila shouldn't have brought up the sliding into the DM story. But like I said before, when you do engage in some sort of effort to try and hook up with somebody and it doesn't work out, it's part of their story just as much as it's your story. Even if it is embarrassing, even if you slid into someone's DMs on the altar just as you're about to marry your flipping wife, it's still their story to share. If they want to share it a year later, 10 years later, 5 years later, it's their story. So anyone complaining about that is talking out their ass. That is right and wrong. It's maybe not a war, but there's right and wrong in his story. But Bobby Lee's a real nice dude, so he's obviously trying to be nice about it, but let's not try and spin another narrative.
even hearing you talk now, there is empathy that I have. You know what I mean?
1,000%.
1,000 times, right?
Yes.
I feel bad. Okay?
Squeeze
I
it
feel
out.
bad. What? No. About it. Okay? But you handle it wrong. That's fine. I'll let it go.
And I own that. And I apologize,
Right.
Bobby. I did not handle this correctly.
So from now on, and I don't want to be here again.
Me neither.
I don't want to do this again. I don't want to talk about it again. I need to move on. I need her to heal. I need her to get happy and free. Okay? And I can't live like this.
Me neither.
Okay? And you can't either. And that's why I have empathy for you. So that's my 2 cents.
So how do we do that, Bobby? How do we get there?
Well,
What do we do?
well, you know,
Kalila's probably the smartest in the room. What do we do, Kalila?
no. Well, she's gonna say what she's gonna do, and I don't know what she's gonna do.
I don't know. What she's
We
gonna
did, we never talked about what that's what I want to do, because I also want to be able to go to the Laugh Factory and see you and not and do, if I'm after you at a club, still be able to do the show and bring you up on stage and work together in a professional way, in that way, right?
100%.
Right. In terms of Bryan, I don't know.
Bobby,
So that's
and Bryan told me to tell you this message. I can't tell you enough. And you're see I'm firing the kid. He is so sorry.
it doesn't matter. What he
I'm
said was-
just telling you. I know,
insane.
and he admit that he's like,
Insane.
I agree.
Yeah.
He was level 10.
I mean, it was.
He was
insane.
level
I
10.
mean, just thinking about it makes me tremble.
You know what's funny, right, about this whole entire thing? As bad as Brendan has come out looking, we all knew this about the guy. We all knew he was redacted. We all knew he was a bit of a bully. We all knew he was a bit of an oaf. We all knew he, for whatever reason, didn't take the golden opportunity he was given, the golden ticket, the career he was served on a platter. He didn't treat it with any kind of respect. He didn't honor the craft and all these kind of things. And clearly some of us knew this time this situation would end up catching up with him, right? All these things he's done in the past and stuff. And just his general attitude will end up kind of, shooting him in the foot. But I think one of the other real bad victims of this whole entire affair have been Bryan Called. Bryan Callen's come out of this looking worse than he probably has looked from the back of the rape allegations. Because as bad as the rape allegations were, if you were being charitable to him because you're a fan, you could say it was a he said, she said issue, which it isn't, obviously, because there was a lot of evidence there that sounded like Bryan probably did it. And all the other sexual harassment cases sounded like something Bryan would have done. But if you're being charitable, you could say cancel culture's trying to ruin him. He's a funny guy, blah, blah, blah. Where's the proof? You should have said it when it happened. Okay, whatever. But this was in a situation where you clearly got to see the guy's true colors in Bryan Called, because he, according to Bobby Lee and Kalila, went off the handle on Bobby Lee in a way that you would have never expected for somebody who's known the guy for 20 plus years, going on to 30. They're actual Comedy Store alum. They've been in the scene as long as each other. They were on the same show, Mad TV, maybe not at the same time, but they are from that same school. So they've known each other intimately in that LA comedy scene for ages. He's known Bobby Lee way longer than he's known Brendan Schaub. But Brendan Schaub goes back to Bryan with this Kookamani story about, the TigerBelly people being responsible for the fire in the kids subreddit. Then Bryan Called flies off the handle, jumps out of the window, jumps out of the flipping, 7-story fucking window of a building, and absolutely lays into Bobby Lee in a way that would probably show Bobby Lee his true colors, right? Because he was basically holding in all that stuff, calling him a pussy, calling him a cuck, saying all these mad things to him. So it's actually interesting that in this whole situation, Bryan Callen's actually ended up looking the worst out of this because of how mad and crazy he went at Bobby Lee. But also on the same token, he's also now trying to spin a narrative that he's now a victim because everyone's going after him because, Bobby Lee's basically a sacred cow amongst LA comedy scene podcast fans. People love him online. You can't say a bad word about Bobby Lee. They even get at Kalila because they think Kalila's not good for Bobby. Bobby's actually somebody you can't touch. So the fact that Bryan Called would go at Bobby was such a misstep, such a dumb move. And then also, hitching your wagon to Brendan is like, really? This is the guy you want to go, you kind of want to die for. Like, this is the guy you want to die on the heel of. The guy that, I don't know, it just doesn't make any sense. And I said it previously before, you didn't see any of this kind of fight when it came to Crystalia. He didn't protect Crystalia the same way he's protecting Brendan. He didn't even protect his flipping, I don't want to go that far with the family stuff, but you know what I mean. Let's go.
All right, so
and we talked about fight. He's done that to me once over the 12 years I've known. He's done it to me once.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
It was like
we covered it. It's a lot.
all right.
He apologized.
All right, so that's
Yeah.
all right. That's
He feels terrible.
Did you see? I went into a fucking wind tunnel. I went into a wind tunnel.
Right.
I went into myself.
Your eye was twitching.
Yeah. So it was a lot, and even you, because I remember even at times when in the call you were like, "Whoa, Bri."
Yeah.
Like when he says that,
Yeah, I was like, God damn, dude.
yeah, goddamn, dude. So
It was a lot. Yeah.
That's my
And he
two-
apologized.
That's
for
my
it, though.
2 cents.
And I know it's gonna take time, and I don't know if you ever get there, but Bryan, I know for a fact, I know Bryan better than anybody on this planet. He loves you, man, and he fucked up royally. You don't have to say anything. I'm just telling you how Bryan
Okay.
feels.
So that's what I'm gonna do.
That's a fucked up kind of love, Brendan.
Yeah, that's
Holy
what I'm. That's what I'm gonna.
shit.
That's what I'm gonna do.
No,
I come from a long line of murderers and violent offenders.
Murderers?
And they don't talk to me like that.
Murders?
Oh yeah, my
yeah.
uncles are
True.
not good people.
So now I want to now this is what we're doing. Where we're talking.
Now he wants to give Kalila respect because she's got murderers in her family. That's the only time he wants to give her respect. Cool.
Talking about the future, all right? I don't want to go to the past.
Right.
All right.
I'm willing.
So yeah. So what are you gonna do from now on, from this moment forward?
I don't need a apology from you. I don't need apologies from you guys.
Mhm.
You know, I don't need an apology from either of you.
Do you see what this man's doing? Do you see how he's trying to fish for apologies? I don't need an apology from you guys. Duh. Who's going to apologize? What are we apologizing for you for anyway? What are we apologizing to you for anyway? Sorry. What is there to apologize? What did they do wrong to him? At most, if you were being charitable, if you were being a Brendan cockholster, if you were being BGL in this flipping equation, you could say, maybe Kalila shouldn't have brought up that 7-year-old sliding my DM story. But like I said before, it's his Kalila's story to share just as much as it's Brendan's, because he tried to shoot a shot at somebody that was in a relationship whilst in relationship too. You fucked up, you swung and a miss. Sometimes you do that with somebody and they want to do the whole secret behind the gate thing and kiss you in the dark sort of stuff. Cool, it happens. But sometimes you do it and you get called out, or someone screenshots your thing and shares it with everybody. You can't then get angry at the person for doing it. You've ruined my life. Now my family's left me and I don't have anything. She's taking the G-Wagon. She's taking the Aston Martin and the Ferrari. Or she's taking the Aston Martin. Well, I got in as a Ferrari. No, you can't complain now because you got them involved too. So what do they have to apologize for? I don't get it. But this is the thing. This is what shows you just how corrupted this man is. Like, that he legitimately still thinks he's owed an apology. For what, bruv? You haven't even proved that they're behind this Reddit thing. The one thing that you're kind of hitching your flipping victim card on, and now you fishing for an apology. You guys aren't owing me I don't expect an apology. What? What? Huh? ¿Qué? ¿Qué? This man is crazy, bruv.
I think you should look into the information I'll give to you after this and do whatever you want with it, you know?
Yeah. And you know what? Guess what, Brendan? If there is any wrongdoing on any part of my company,
True.
you not only will you be the first to know, it could possibly mend all of this.
Yeah.
I believe so.
I want you.
If someone in our company, you can fuck me, bro.
Physically.
You can physically fuck me, dude.
Now I kind of hope it. I hope it's you guys.
Fuck
You can do what that Down syndrome guy did to me.
Fuck him for a lollipop
whole
and fun
summer.
day.
So summer.
People still come up to
Yeah,
me
that
and
was
go,
a great clip,
dude.
It's a classic.
Yeah.
See, that's what I'm saying. We had, you know what I mean?
No, you're one of the best guests we've ever had.
yeah.
Man.
So,
But listen, if you heard, just put yourself in my shoes, right? That anyone you knew and you heard that they went to Rogan and said that you were a thief, a gold digger, and that you were responsible for criminal behavior on Reddit, things like that, would you like that?
No.
And how would you handle that?
I would now I'd call you direct. I'd call you direct. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
yeah.
I'm telling you, Kalaya, I know you don't know me. That did not happen.
Look at Kalila's face. She does not believe him in the slightest. Look at that. Look at the contrast. Look at the contrast between that face and this face. Look at the difference. That face and this face. That she just doesn't. You know what this reminds me of? This face. This reminds me of, like, imagine there's a scenario where you are out there in the streets cheating, doing something that you shouldn't be doing. And then for whatever reason, the wife at home knows that you're out there doing the stuff. But then when you walk through the door, she asks you, hey, how was your day, darling? How was football? How was hanging out with your friends? And then you say, it was amazing. It was great. And then she says, really? And you says, yeah, it's amazing. And she's like, really? And she says something to you, so who's Nadine? And you say, I promise. I know you don't know me, even though we've been together for 17 years. But I promise you, I don't know who Nadine is. And then she says, really? I promise. Really? I promise. Anyway, quickly go here. Big up the super chat from Dennis Michaels. Big up you. Thank you for the $5 super chat. It says, so if you're Callan, in addition to being accused of sexual assaults, you want people to see the side of you and how you treat the weak. Psycho. Exactly, bruv. He's come out of this looking so... If anybody needed some sort of public rehabilitation, it's him. But he comes out of this looking the worst. He flew off the handle at Bobby Lee, one of his closest, longest friends in that scene, right? At the mere suggestion that he might be behind a subreddit. He didn't even get the facts right. He didn't even analyze the flipping information that well, probably. He didn't even, sit down and do a bit of critical thinking or do some sort of pseudo-intellectual stuff that he loves to spout all the time. He didn't adopt or kind of prescribe to any of that stuff. He just went off the handle based on what Brendan said, which was clearly a lie or was clearly doctored or manufactured or whatever. And then he ended up, destroying a friendship. And you never know. And the thing about the Bryan thing, who knows how many other friendships that's also destroyed in the background? Who knows what other things have kind of fallen off the wayside because of how people have seen he's treated Bobby Lee in a situation. The damage that he's done now is going to be long standing. But yeah, Kalila's face is fucking incredible. She does not believe him in the slightest because she's got receipts probably, innit? And she trusts the people who said the stuff to her. But it's hilarious.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't believe you, but thank you for attempting to make me believe.
That's all I can do. I don't know what to tell you. Yeah.
So let's go for a path forward. Is there a path forward or no? Aside from that, in terms of what we do.
Look, at the end of the day, I appreciate you being here. I know it's difficult to do
it
all
had
of
to
this.
be done, though. It had to be done.
And I do appreciate you taking ownership for how poorly you dealt with it. This started in January 25. January 26, it would have been done.
Agree.
And 100%. I think that's the biggest lesson here is that...
For me, it's not, Kalila.
What's the biggest lesson here?
The lesson is the way it was handled, right? I should have went directly to you, but we didn't know each other. The lesson should have been, deal with it direct. But for me, for you guys, it ends, right?
What? Isn't the lesson don't slide into the DMs of married women or people in a relationship, especially if they're your friends? Shouldn't that be the lesson? Isn't the lesson don't solicit trug walks off of comedians who might be not interested in you in the slightest? Because that's another thing too to say. I don't know, just talking from a guy's point of view. Again, let's be charitable. Let's be charitable because we're just analyzing this because it's gone now. You've watched this already. You already know what's said in this video. So I'm not saying, we're not going to see anything new in this clip. But I'm just thinking out loud here. Let's imagine a scenario where you're a dude and you want to proposition someone to a trug walk, right? You want to proposition a lady, a fella you're interested in. Hey, would you like to go on a trug walk with me tonight? Right? You want to proposition them, and they know what that means. They know what that sounds like. They know what those words are insinuating when they kind of hit the air. They know what's going down. Wouldn't you usually do that to somebody who you're either in communication with previously, or somebody that you've maybe had a situation with a little bit? Right, that would be it, innit? It would be someone that you've hooked up previously, you've been close to hooking up, you've been exchanging flirty DMs, or there'd be something there that you'd want to maybe say, you know what, let me try and throw some more bait in the water. Let's see, they didn't mind my little kiss emoji thing, they didn't mind my peach emoji, they didn't mind my aubergine emoji. Now I see them in real life. Let me chuck a little trug walk in there. It's like when you're putting, when you got oil on the fryer and it's really hot and you want to put some chips in there or some fries. Usually you do it like a little bit, like a corner. You just throw it in it, then you see if it's warm, and then It's all bubbling. You just what you want to do, innit? When you're trying to offer somebody a truck walk, you want them to be interested. So you're like, hey, let me speak to somebody that's interested. But from Annie Liederman's reaction, it didn't seem like she was interested at all. She seemed really offended, somewhat. She seemed it seemed like it was a level of disrespect that she didn't expect from him. Like, how dare you try and offer me a drug walk? I don't even like you. I don't even think you're funny. And you think I'm going to have sex with you. You think I'm going to engage in a flipping sexual act with you, give you fellatio in the flipping front seat of your Ford Raptor. No, go away. You know what I mean? It was really aggressive. It didn't come from a, oh, we've kind of had a sweet conversation before. Oh, stop being silly, Brendan. Ha ha, he he. No, it was like a categoric go away. So I wonder what gave him the suggestion or the thinking that he should do it. Maybe that really shows how corrupted he is as a person, that he'd even do that, because he's doing that with somebody that clearly hasn't given any interest beforehand, and he's just trying to make somebody feel awful. I don't know. It's just a very strange thing to kind of do. And then to sit there and say, my lesson is what? My lesson is to go direct. No, and the whole direct thing as well, just to quickly end this point. Am I the only one who wouldn't be comfortable with somebody who, number one, tries to slide in my girl's DMs, then trying to contact her directly to say sorry? No, don't talk to her no more. Don't talk to her no more. You're going to either talk to each fist, you're going to talk to the shovel, you're going to talk to the end, to the tip of this flipping weapon, whatever. You're not going to talk to her anymore. I don't get this whole, like, I should have gone to you direct. Why should you gone direct to the person? Why? Why are you even speaking? Your mouth should be wide shut. You know what I mean? Kanye West style. Like, God damn it.
For me, you know, I got to get the with this Reddit shit, with the TigerBelly email. If we get done with this, I show it to you, and you're like, it's actually this, and this, or that's not our email, whatever it is. Because the account, once I notified that it was happening, stopped posting, changed the email.
Can you say what the email was?
Sure.
Just on air. Just if I want to make sure it's our email, unless it's like.
What is our email? Well, let's just see what he says.
Well, he had sent me a screenshot of it. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
yeah, we'll
I'll,
wait
I'll
after-
just
we'll wait
show you all of it after this.
Oh, yeah.
Deadly.
Okay.
So, and then you
It doesn't stop for, you know what I'm saying? But
you deny then that you felt under attack by the girls and that you had to double down and create this Reddit drama. Like, you deny that.
I swear on my kids.
Okay, so
I swear on my kids, that's not
you're
violent.
insisting that's two separate things and not
Correct.
tied, not associated to one
in
another.
any facet.
That it wasn't a way to retaliate
No,
against
I
us.
swear on my kids.
That
There's
it
nothing
just so happens that 5 days after the live show, there are Reddit accusations about me.
I swear on my life.
Okay.
It's very, I agree. Very convenient, very mysterious.
Mysterious.
He's lying. The thing is, as well, when you lie, you have to be a good liar, innit? And I guess, how can you be a good liar if you don't? But sometimes I think to myself, I don't even think it's a thing of not being a good liar. I generally think he believes what he says sometimes. I really do, man. I've watched enough content of Brendan. I was a fan of The Fire and the Kid. I genuinely believe he believes the things that comes out of his mouth. So maybe he has spun himself into a stupor, but he actually believes this whole Reddit conspiracy theory. He really does believe it. Or whoever gave him the documents, again, because that could be another plot line. Whoever he hired to do this investigation or audit of the Fire and the Kid subreddit, they might be swindling him. So they might have painted this narrative to kind of feed into whatever paranoia he had at the moment, and they just ran off with the money and left him with all this nonsense. Or maybe it's just narcissism. I don't know.
Serious.
Agree.
Okay. My path forward.
I'm telling you, there's nothing I love more on this planet than my kids.
Okay.
I swear on my kids' lives
Okay.
that this team
Yeah.
brought up the TigerBelly email.
Okay.
Okay.
I just love that you keep talking about a team and nothing has been produced.
But
But he has it right
I
here.
have it
We're
right
gonna see
here.
it.
You're going to see it.
Allegedly.
We're gonna see it, and then once we see it,
No, Clyde,
Okay,
it's
hold
not,
on
it's
one
not
second.
allegedly. I'm going to show you soon as we get off air.
It's a little unfair, though. We don't want to talk about this again, but okay.
this is what we can do.
Okay.
Okay. We can look at it, right? And when he leaves, if you
I'm also not really, again, so only towards the end now, so please bear with me. I also don't understand the relevance of this. Even if this is true, he's got documents that show that there's a Reddit account with the TigerBelly email registered to it that's posting mad stuff about Brendan on the Fire and the Kids subreddit. So what? If it has nothing to do with them two who's sitting in front of him, what does this have to do with the whole trug walking thing anyway in the first place? Who cares? Who cares? So what, you found an account that has some crazy post history on it? What does that have to do with what you did to them? What does that have to do with how you reacted to the girl's story? It doesn't make any sense. It's such a bizarre thing to kind of throw out there as a sort of distraction thing. Like, look over there. Okay. Do you know what I mean? It's like, who gives a shit about this account? Like, even if it is true, even if it is liking some deplorable post, it's commenting some crazy stuff, what does it actually matter in the grand scheme of things when it comes to this issue at hand? The Anna Liederman thing and the sending a DM to her. Like, what does it matter?
You want to come back on and talk about what we saw, then we can do that.
Are you okay with that?
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends how you go about it.
No, the way I'm going to go about it is,
oh, you slimy fuck. What do you mean, sure? Why can't they talk about it? He doesn't want them to talk. See, this is why I think it's a lie. This is why I think it's a lie. Anyone that actually had this evidence or believed what the evidence was real, why wouldn't you just let them talk about it? Why can't it, so they can see it, but they can't talk about it in a podcast anymore? How does that make any sense? Now I know why people say they don't believe the documents exist. Now I know. I should have watched it longer. Now I know why people say documents don't exist. This seems very, very fishy. He doesn't want them to talk about it after the fact. I don't know, man. This seems really, really dodge. Oh, big up another super chat here. Big up to Joe for the $4.99 super chat. I appreciate you, my friend. Thank you. He says the following. Brendan's team started the rumors on TigerBelly Reddit after Trash Tuesday said what they did. He's the one that actually did what he's actually accusing TB. Exactly. I'm glad I'm not the only one that's flipping confused and also like, yeah, exactly. What Joe said is exactly true. This is what a bizarre reaction to that kind of question, though, isn't it? Weird.
if there's levity to it and there is something that we need to investigate, we'll talk about that. You know what I mean? At this point, it's like, because what, like this, I don't know what how it works, but I'm pretty sure that somebody could create an email with the name TigerBelly, but be different than
not with the official email.
But all of you guys sound just like.
Yes, they imagine not knowing how Reddit works, but then accusing people of starting a Reddit conspiracy against you. And also, why couldn't you register an account on Reddit with anyone's email address? Of course you can. How does that make any sense that you can't do that? It's just an email address. Whether or not you can verify is one thing, but you can sign up with that email address. Everyone does it. You can do it right now if you don't believe it. You could sign up with an email with Nike on it, or Starbucks, Apple. Like, it's not difficult to do. It's just an email address. So weird. Like, as if email addresses are like fucking pin codes to your bank account or something. It's like, or your flipping passport number. It's not that deep. It's just an email.
Boomers who don't know anything
Exactly.
about Reddit. That's what you, Callan, and Schaub sound like. You guys are fucking Reddit. You don't even know how it works. I don't either, but at least I'm not claiming to be.
Yeah.
I'm not claiming
exactly.
to fucking know.
So regardless
I
of
don't
what it
think you
is,
can sign up with a certified email. That's what.
Oh my god, I didn't see that bit. Look at Kalila's face. Look at Kalila's face, bruh. Look. She's honestly, she's the GOAT. She's the most valuable player. She's the MVP in this situation. God almighty. I didn't see that end bit. That's hilarious. Let's run that back again. You guys sound like boomers.
email with the name TigerBelly, but be different than
Not with the official email.
But all of you guys sound just like boomers who don't know anything about Reddit. That's what you, Callan, and Schaub sound like. You guys are fucking Reddit. You don't even know how it works. I don't either, but at least I'm not claiming to be.
Yeah.
I'm not claiming to fucking know.
So regardless
I
of
don't
what it
think
is,
you can sign up with a certified email. That's where it gets weird.
Look at her face again. Anyway, let's go to the super chat. Big up Joe again for another $4.99 super chat. He says, and he's trying to use pedo and child abuse as a way to not show documents because ongoing investigation. Exactly. So that's the thing I don't get. It's an ongoing investigation, but it doesn't involve the feds or it doesn't involve the FBI. So he didn't take it to the police. So you found evidence of people abusing kids. You found pedo stuff and child abuse stuff, but you're not willing to take it to the police. But then you use as a defense against all this nonsense that's happening in the flipping, that you've caused with Annie Liederman and Kalala. That's what you're doing instead. Okay, classic. But yeah, let's just look at this face. Let's just concentrate on this towards the end because this is perfect. Let's see what they do. This is so good.
Certified.
Like nobody could use my actual email.
George, your input?
I'll say this: we had to do a kind of an internal investigation with our email. So there's only 3 people that have this email. So all of us went into the actual account to search our email, which is, I want to say it, but to see if there was a Reddit account made with that email, and there was no email. So we contacted Reddit. Reddit has some kind of, George, you want to say what Reddit said?
You just put in your email to see if there's an email, if there's an account with that email.
Associated,
and yeah,
there was
nothing
none.
came back.
Nothing
so that's
Nothing came back.
For our email. I don't know what email the team found. but
What
for
you
our
found,
email.
but in our email, that's what we found. So my point is that.
Well, and to use your words.
But no. But I want to say
I'm
is
curious,
that.
though, yeah.
But like I said, when I say that we have a path forward, right? All these things that I just said about, I want to end this thing. So even if we read it and we come back on, I'm not gonna do anything that's gonna poke and you know what I mean.
This is my thing.
Yeah,
Even if you guys see it, however you feel about it, I'm done.
I'm done.
I'm
done.
done with it. It's over.
Okay, that's a relief.
No matter how you guys feel,
That's a
I'm
relief.
out, man.
Okay.
I appreciate you guys even having me on.
Mm-hmm.
Won't say it. I mean, if I say something nice about you, is that all right? I don't know what you guys terms you want to do. I don't know.
Dude, listen. I don't want to get a phone call at 3 a.m. from you accusing me of shit. I don't want to hear that. You know what I mean?
Bobby, prior to this,
yeah.
Do you have any recollection of me ever doing anything to you ever? When you were struggling, I found out from your brother. Did I not text you? Go, hey man, you need anything, Bobby?
Yeah,
Let me know.
and that's
Have I always been-
that's why this whole thing has been so baffling.
That's how hurt I am.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, but look at that little bit. So he says a pretty decent comment to basically feign connection and ignorance, feign connection and sympathy, and to make it seem like they're better friends than what they actually are. But then he also shows up himself by illustrating that if they were such good terms, why would he immediately go to the most extreme length to prove that he's part of this mastermind of this subreddit when he thinks of him so highly?
So here's the deal, okay? It's done, at least for me. I don't know, Kalila, you have to process it the way you want to process it. And
I think that for you and I, it's definitely going to take some time because I still feel a big mistrust. But I also think
same for what? What's same? Same. What mistrust? Because she told people that you slid into her DMs. So what, bruv? Honestly, this is a big bag of so what. Who cares that you slid in someone's DMs? Who cares that you offered a trouble to somebody? Who actually cares? It's not that deep. Apologize and move on. If they don't accept your apology, cool, whatever. You've got one less friend now. It's your fault. You fucked up. Lesson learned. Try and be better next time. Same.
have each other's numbers and there is a direct line.
And I'll say I feel mistrust, and there's clearly, some negativity between us, but you have my utmost respect.
Thank you.
I think you're such a beast.
Thank you.
You're a savage.
Okay. Anyway,
And
I still want to fuck you. Don't you get the feeling that he still wants to smash? After all this nonsense, legitimately, if Kalila slid back into his DMs and said, you know what, seeing you up close has kind of changed my decision. Seeing your bloated, redacted face and your silly, skinny jeans and your crazy trainers and that necklace that you have with of your kid, that's now made me think, you know what? I want to smash. And those tattoos that you got of your kids as well, they're going to remind me of you when we're smashing. Don't you get the feeling? Don't you get the feeling that Brendan still wants to smash? I don't know. Maybe I'm just reading too much into it being a flipping raging cisgendered male, but I get the feeling that he's still sat there thinking, because ultimately this comes down to, if we're being really honest and brutal about this, Brendan doesn't think Bobby Lee deserves Kalila. He definitely thinks she deserves a man, a strong, a beast of a dad. Ooh. I mean, he has that kind of idea in his head. He doesn't think Bobby Lee deserves Kalila. He thinks Kalila's wasted on Bobby Lee. Hence why he thought, I'm going to take you. I claim you. I'm going to put you over my shoulder and do what I want to do. But, you know, he bumped into somebody who clearly doesn't care about looks, clearly doesn't care about money and all that sort of nonsense, and is in love with the guy that she's in love with. And he underestimated his opponent. And this is where we're at.
Or dates or Big Poppy Gringo?
Well, no, you're special. When you're special.
Why are we?
I want to plug your special.
Oh my
Just the saddest pod of all time.
I want to plug your special.
Hey, go watch my special.
Everyone, watch.
Go see me in Philadelphia next week.
Next weekend, Philadelphia, what, Helium?
Yeah.
At the Philadelphia, Mark Harmon, what's his name? The owner, Mark.
Mark.
Cute. What?
No.
No, the owner
Oh,
of
they said
Helium's
Mark
Mark
Cuban.
something.
Yeah. Great guy.
We don't have to promote my
Yeah. No, he's going to be at the Philly Helium. Check out his special. And I say TigerBelly again. Fighter the Kid, and Stings Wings.
And make sure you get your Thick Boy merch.
Thick Boy merch. Okay, give him a
Wait,
run
I
over.
have one more
Or don't.
question.
Oh God, babe, we're fucking
don't.
out
I
of
have
this.
no.
thing.
I have one more question.
Oh my God.
Just because.
Gotta go
Don't
poop.
you ever feel this like, do you ever think that maybe it would be a good idea to lean into the Reddit stuff and start selling truck merch?
No.
Okay.
This is his major faux pas and has been the main reason why we're at where we're at now at the moment. If Brendan would have leaned into forget the struggle, maybe the struggle was too sensitive and it's too much of a hot button topic in his household, because I do get the feeling that that's the one thing I said before. I think that's the one thing that his wife, the Mexican Joanna, has basically told him, if this is true, I'm gone. So he's clearly trying his best to keep that, under the lid. Or maybe there's something else towards it. I don't know, whatever. Cool. But I've always said, if he would have leaned into the meme and maybe not embrace the subreddit completely and, reading posts like I do online, but if he would have embraced the meme a bit, he would be in a far better position right now with that subreddit. And maybe the subreddit's toxicity levels and, the way they go after them, it wouldn't be what it is at the moment. But the fact that he wouldn't embrace the meme and he wouldn't even dare to laugh at himself is why we're at where we're at now at the moment. His inability to find himself redacted or to maybe identify with the jokes is why he's so widely disliked, I think, because people can't understand how a stand-up comedian, allegedly, who is a professional stand-up, who gets paid to go on stage and stuff, can't see the ridiculousness of their own career. They can't figure it all out. Do you know what I mean? Like, he doesn't necessarily see that. So I think that's been the major faux pas in his career. I think if he would have embraced the subreddit and meme earlier on, the hate he gets wouldn't be to this level. I don't think so at all.
That's all. That was my
Let's
question.
land the plane.
Again, Kalila, I think if I got like if it was normal, like I said, criticism and hate, that's what we sign up for being
Right.
public figures.
What was that word?
Like I said, criticism and hate, that's what.
What?
If it was normal, like I said, criticism and hate. If it was normal, like I said, criticism and hate.
What?
If it was normal, like I said, criticism and hate.
How can you not say the word criticism? Is it really that hard to say aloud? Let's see. Criticism. Let's see how hard it is to say that word. Let's see.
Criticism.
Huh?
Criticism.
There we go.
Criticism.
Is it really that hard to say that word?
Criticism. Criticism.
I don't know. Let's continue.
Hate, that's what we sign up for being
Right.
public figures. When it crosses over to this evil, toxic stuff, there's no more fun in it for me.
The killing cat stuff. Yeah, no, I get it. It's a dark place, Reddit. I agree. I empathize with you. Thank you so much for doing this.
Can I just say one last thing then? I don't want to.
Is it a new
I don't want to
segment,
land a
or
plane.
what is this?
You know, it's just a thought that I've always had, right? You know, Brendan might not be your cup of tea, but he did do something that was difficult. Now, if you're envious in any kind of way, or you're like, why him? And you know what I mean? He doesn't make me laugh, whatever. It's like, then you do it.
Or just change the station.
Or switch to something else, or
this isn't North
or improve
Korea.
your life. You know what I mean, or whatever.
It's
just
not
like
North Korea. No one's forced you to watch my
But
special.
anyway, that's my 2 cents.
Well, I love you, man.
I wish I could.
I don't think he's there yet.
I wish I could. You know what I mean? But give him a round of applause. It was brave of you to come.
What a picture. What a picture. Bobby Lee spudded him and walked straight out. Because they were meant to, if I'm not mistaken, judging by the podcast, they were meant to sit there and go through Brendan's evidence, and he was meant to send Kalila whatever evidence he had about the emails. George was also, look at George, looking at him thinking, oh, where's this fucking emails? Come on, because he went to their house, he went to their studio, their place of work, their business, and basically alleged, you know, that they are responsible for causing all the bother on that Fire in the Kids subreddit and get them in the drama. So clearly they don't want to be thrown under the bus either, because if it's not them, it's not them. But look at that, mate. If ever there was a sign, if ever there was a way to, this is the perfect end to the press tour that he was doing for his special. This is the perfect way to end it, right? Turning his back, looking the other way. Brutal stuff, man. Absolutely brutal. If ever there was a way to kind of, you know, punctuate the end of a pretty disastrous podcast for Brendan, it'd be this. If you're being charitable, I know I'm doing this too often, you could say, yes, it was a good thing he went on there and he was brave of him to do so, but I don't think it's bravery. I still think he went on there with the sole intention of making himself out to be a victim. He didn't go on there with the intention of like being apologetic and, trying to mend it or whatever, or make it explain. I don't know. I don't think that was his intention at all. His intention for sure was to go in there and paint a narrative that he was also a victim, maybe, more of a victim than anybody else that's concerned with this. And in the end, he ended up showing himself up and proving that quite possibly his claims that he has about, this Reddit account and the evidence he has was all lies, or, as people have pointed out, he may be just pinning all this on uniques. And also, have we got any explanation about what happened with the lady that he supposedly handed a note to? What happened with that then? Because I think that's what set everything off, innit? Because I'm sure that happened before the Annie Lederman story, didn't it? Before the truck walk. That happened before the truck walk, where he allegedly live on stream, that Mike Tyson thing. Again, Brendan has the worst luck in the world, innit? Like, he must have the worst luck. Everything he does always gets caught in fucking 4K. He goes to do that live stream. Was it for the Super Bowl, right? With DC, another guy, I think it's Brandon Marshall, is he? He's a former NFL guy, and Mike Tyson. And then somehow, and then they're doing this live stream at some swanky LA mansion somewhere that I guess is some sort of Airbnb. It looks amazing. And they're live streaming it. And then I guess in the break or intermission, they just keep live streaming. Sorry, but they've got cameras set up all around the house. And only Brendan could be so unlucky. The moment the camera's panning to the main sort of living room area, it looks like he kind of, trots over to a group of people sitting down, and he looks like he hands a note to some girl. She reads it, and then he kind of walks off, all kind of proud of himself. And it's caught live on stream. It's not even like anybody's painting the narrative or trying to make it. No, we don't know what the note said. We don't know what the interaction was about. We can't say too much about that thing. I don't want to get sued, but still, he's so flipping unlucky, isn't it? Like, he slid into the DMs of the one woman in comedy who doesn't care about his fame or his money. Not one woman, but you know what I mean. Not somebody that wanted to be a participating person in his, adultery. He then tries to offer a trouble to a young comedian who he thinks might be impressed with him and what he's about. And she's not impressed, clearly. And she kind of shoots it down. and in the little note slip, you get caught in 4K live on stream in front of the entire world. Ugh, hurts. Anyway, we're gonna end it with one more, with an update. The Fire and the Kid guys got on their platform and decided to cry about this issue. So let's hear Bryan Called and Brendan crying. This is after the fact. So this is after they filmed. I think this is after Brendan went on TigerBelly, and of course this is a day after it's now kind of come to light that fucking Bryan went on the phone and started flipping abusing and calling Bobby Lee names because he happened to have the unfortunate privilege of being in a relationship with flipping Kalila. He did nothing wrong. So this is the day after, I'm assuming, this happened. And first of all, immediately I'm angry and annoyed and frustrated and raging and absolutely shaking with rage that he's on a podcast wearing sandals. This to me is a clear and obvious sign of disrespect to the audience. You're on the fucking podcast. You can't even be bothered to put on some fucking shoes when you're going to the studio. You're that flipping unprepared, lazy, and just comfortable that you're willing to wear sandals on a fucking podcast. Like, cover your feet. Don't you have any respect for your audience? Any respect for yourself, sir? Honestly, I don't know why this fills me with so much rage. This fills me with more rage than when Bryan Called used to wear those ankle socks with trainers and jeans, or when he used to wear black dress socks, like black dress shoe socks that you'd wear with actual shoes that you'd go to a wedding or to like a job with. He'd wear them with trainers. Like, honestly, just put some trainers on. Maybe not those monstrosities, but something. Put something on, brother. Oh yeah. But anyway, let's watch it.
You're good, Chin.
Here we go.
You look good, Chinny.
Looking you look like an art thief.
Yeah.
Well, you're dressed all in black. Only you need black shoes. You've got
the white shoes throw it off.
Yes.
If you were in all black, you look like
all
you're
black.
like Ocean's 19.
That's right.
And you're going for an art heist.
I know.
And you're the brains, but you're the hacker.
You are the hacker.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're the guy with the earpiece in the van going,
Yeah. I might start
Mark looks like you part of it too. Mark looks like the distraction. All right, Mark, you cause a scene while the team goes through the
He
back.
looks like a skater who just got into weightlifting.
You know what, right? To be fair to this person, BGL, to be fair to him, again, I'm being charitable this podcast because I just want to extend some sort of positivity, because I feel like that episode with Brendan on TigerBelly was such a car crash, was so bad for everybody involved with the Fire and the Kid that it may be one of those things that's kind of like impossible to come back from. If you thought the special was embarrassing, that episode on TigerBelly was even worse. Now, to be charitable to BGL is actually a good thing that Brendan has somebody like this in his corner, because this guy clearly loves Brendan Schaub and is really appreciative of the opportunity he's been given, because it looks like from all the clips people keep uploading on the Fire and the Kid subreddit, he has been a somewhat struggling, failing actor, comedian, personality, influencer type person in LA for a while. He's been grinding for a long time, and I would have assumed, because of all the gas people give people in Hollywood, there was a point in time in his career when an agent or a manager told him, you're going to be the next XYZ, Liam Hemsworth or whoever. He kind of probably told himself that, and he was probably reaffirmed to him that, because, there's that story of Bryan Called being told back in the day that, his agent said he's going to be the next Tom Hanks after he appeared on flipping Hangover and shit. LA's home of the gas, right? They gas you up and make you feel a certain way. So I'm pretty sure with the way he looks, especially when he was younger, he looked way more cuter when he was younger than he does now. He looks terrible now, I think, personally. He had a great look. He was clearly had some sort of charisma on camera. He took to it quite naturally. He wasn't shy and all that stuff. He had some sort of range that he could offer. And he clearly thought he was going to get somewhere with that, and it didn't work out for whatever reason. And now he's reinvented himself into this kind of, person that he is now, and that still didn't work out. And it was not until Brendan put his arm around him and gave him an opportunity to get on the show, that his career started to flourish. So I can understand why he goes so hard for Brendan online, because now the assumption is that he's the one now in charge of the Fighter and the Kid Instagram account. Hence why he's using all the Shawbanese in the comments, which is really cringe, really embarrassing. But anyway, do what you need to do. He's adding value to the company and showing that he's a soldier. So he's the next in line. After Bryan is, he's kind of used out his usefulness. The next person in line for the firing line is going to be BGL. He's going to be the next person who ends up being Brendan Schaub's resident cockholster. But again, I don't blame the guy for doing what he did. Brendan's obviously given him a chance. He's put some money in his pocket. He's allowed him to, take his career to the next level. He might have got some opportunities off the back of the Fighter and the Kid. I'm not too sure, but I understand why he goes so hard for Brendan. And it's also good if Brendan has people like me who are willing to sit on stream in my house on a Friday night and talk about this guy who I don't know for hours. He also has the right to have somebody who's willing to be on his phone until late hours of the night writing fucking paragraphs to people online and shit. He needs that. Yeah, I mean, he needs that. It's a good thing he has that person in his life. So, in some way, it's a good thing that he has him in his life and in his corner. All good. All good.
Who's also a male nurse.
Yeah, who's also a male nurse pants. Yeah, you got male nurse pants. Those are male nurse pants, dude.
No, they're comfy.
Yeah, they look good.
He looks like a skater who fell into whatever the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fell.
He's got those juicy quads.
Yeah, you come back the next day and they're like, Jesus Christ, Mark. Just jacked.
Unbelievable.
He even laughs at Brendan's jokes like he's fucking Louis C.K. You know what I mean? Like, he literally loves that guy. He loves him for real. Like, you can feel the brotherly love. Like, he wishes they were siblings. You know what I mean? He probably would murder flipping Jay in his sleep if that meant he could climb into his skin and be Brendan's brother. Like, he would legitimately do it. He would probably off the flipping wife. Chris Benoit style, if that meant that he could be next to Brendan. He loves that man, for real. He loves. There's no true love there. Look at the way he's smiling, talking about him. Look, he's talking about smiling BGL, and BGL's playing around with his hair, being all cute, like, oh, don't say that. I love you too.
Yeah, Bebop and Rocksteady. What's up, buddy? How you doing, pal?
How am I doing? Well, I mean, listen, you know what's cool?
Daddy got some sleep.
You
look rested.
Well, I had to. Bobby's got some fans. Bobby's got, and here's what's funny. They're a little mad at me, but I'm a Bobby fan, so that's what's interesting about this too. And guys, it was a phone call. We had to clear some stuff.
Oh, shut up, you fucking donkey. This empty platitude, Bobby has some fans. If you're going to be the bully boy, if you're going to get on the phone and start ragging people, especially somebody that you know isn't capable of any sort of physical altercation thing, somebody that you feel like you can clearly intimidate, don't then start crying on the internet because their fans decide to, throw a couple mean comments down your way or send you a couple of devil emojis or whatnot. Who cares? Just the internet, innit? It doesn't really matter, really. I mean, like... Oh, yeah. Such a scummy move. Want to be the bad boy, the hard nut, and then you get some... I don't know, just continue.
I think there's some misunderstanding. People weren't listening. I apologized immediately after, and Bobby and I spoke, and he read me the riot act. He's mad at me.
I raped you, but I apologized immediately after. Why won't you be my friend? That's basically what he's saying. I know I told your mum to fuck off, but I apologized immediately after. Why won't you come to my birthday party? I know I stole some money from you, but I immediately apologized. Why won't you answer my text? You're allowed to do what you want, but you're not allowed to control my reaction, you absolute dullard.
I apologized way before any of this. This stuff didn't happen, and then I apologized. I apologized like the day after I called. I called again.
Yeah, you called
I sent
me.
a text.
Yeah, you called. Yeah, I want this to be very clear. It's not like man, I'm getting a lot of shit for this. I apologized. I found out 2 days after. Like, I talked to Bobby. I apologized. Yeah, I don't think he's gonna accept it, but that's all I can do.
Yes, I did. Yes. I did everything I could. I felt terrible. But I did not threaten. Listen, the other thing is, people are saying I'm a bully, and so I get it. It's all good. I didn't.
No, it's not all good. You're here stuttering and stammering on a podcast because people are calling you out on your bullshit. And it's also interesting that Brendan has somewhat distanced himself from the situation. Like for him, it seems like it's over because he got on to go on a show and talk it out. But you got this man into this situation, and now he's out here fighting for his life in these comments, fighting for his life in these DMs, fighting for his life and how he's perceived online, and he's just there like, oh well.
I didn't say I was going to get goons. I didn't threaten his life. I didn't threaten his family. I did not do that. I was yelling. I was mad because I was defending my friend.
So because you didn't say a direct threat, that means you didn't bully them. I love how he's trying to say, so what Bobby feels or how he interprets it doesn't matter. It matters what you think you said to him in a moment of anger. Cool.
I was working on information that I believed to be true at the time, but my mistake was not giving him the benefit of the doubt or talking to him. And again, I apologize for that, but like I'm a fan too. Yeah. Hey, I'm with you. Like I'm with you. I was texting with Bobby this morning. I'm like, dude, like this is getting crazy. Like
you wasn't talking with him. You text him and he wasn't answering. Stop this. The cap, man. This is a nearly 60-year-old man.
Now at this point, my family's getting threats of violence. Now it's gotten to the point where my family, my fiance with the baby, she's getting threats of violence and she's afraid.
Well, maybe you should have thought about that before you got on the phone and flew off the handle, based on a flipping dumb suggestion that he somehow was responsible for the subreddit, mate. Maybe you should have thought about that more. 30-year friendship, flushing it down the drain because of a weird cockamamie lie that my man here on the right made up so he could cover himself because of what was alleged might happen in a couple of DMs. Give it a rest.
Like it's fine. It's one thing if it's hate, but also, guys, I've been friends with Bobby forever. Yes, he's mad at me. I feel fucking terrible.
As far as the death threats,
we had a conversation, and I owned up to everything, and he accepted my apology. He's still pissed at me, but he accepted my apology, and that was all way before all this fucking crazy.
I think over time, though, he's gonna accept it.
But I apologize when I fuck up. I apologize as a matter of principle.
Yes,
that's
who you are.
You have to own up to it, no matter what.
What's the principle of? Is there any principle in allegedly raping somebody? Is there any principle in sexually abusing people? Is there a principle in attacking one of your best friends in comedy because they happen to be in a relationship with somebody who accused somebody that you're friends with of sliding into their DMs, which they probably have proof of? Principles. Get out of here.
Mm-hmm. You know, and no, I'm not a fucking, am I a bully? I mean, have I ever done this?
Asking a bully if you're a bully is hilarious.
I got angry. I was defending my friend. I got a little, heated.
I mean, you shoved me around from time to time.
I shoved you around a little once in a while.
Yeah, you shoved me in a locker.
Yeah,
but stay there.
But what's fucking crazy about this is that the people that are mad at me, in a sick way, it's like, no, guys, I get it. I love Bobby too. You don't love Bobby more than I love Bobby. I get it. I've known him for 25 fucking years.
As Kalila said, that's a weird fucked up way to show love in there.
Yeah.
He's one of the sweetest, funniest, kindest people in the world.
100%.
That's what I felt. I felt fucking terrible. Mm-hmm. And I tried to do everything in my power to make it right way before this storm, this insanity. Guys, it was a phone call.
Yeah, you made a mistake. You apologized. You owned up to it. That's all you can do, brother. That's all you can do. Neither one of us handled the situation right. They didn't handle the situation
right. There has been really.
What's this they didn't handle the situation right? I don't understand why he's upset. What can people hypothesize in the chat, please? What do you guys think Brendan means when he says they didn't handle the situation right? What does he mean? What didn't they do right? Was he annoyed by it? Is he annoyed mostly because Kalila mentioned the whole DM thing without telling him first that she was going to mention it or something? What's he annoyed by? I don't understand why he's annoyed by it. Or is he annoyed that they went on H3 and talked about it? We didn't handle this properly. What? Oh, and I like the dislikes are brutal. Obviously, this might be a little bit skewed, and I'm not too sure if it's super accurate because obviously they've disabled it. But I've got this plugin now that's called, what's it called? It's called Return YouTube Dislikes, so it can show you the dislikes. Now it's like 15,000 dislikes to 2.9k up likes or upvotes, whatever. Brutal, innit? What's some of the comments saying here? Bryan is the human representation of what Joey Diaz says he escaped LA from. Exactly. Brendan's appearance on TigerBelly was traumatic for him. He even drank some normal water. True. Bobby said, "I'll never be Bryan's friend again. A 20-year relationship. Bryan acts tough till he does something fucked up and he gets called out. A little heated, quote unquote. Nah, man. Brendan deserves the heat. He's the one who causes the problems." Another one. Imagine this conflict was orchestrated by Rudy. True. That's hilarious. Bryan scarred a friendship for 25 years because Brendan can't accept responsibility. That is essentially the point of the matter, innit? This is the whole point of the matter. 25-year relationship down the drain because your best friend can't keep his first fingers in his own pocket. God almighty. Let's continue.
Bad harassment and threats of violence
Yes, that's how
against
this
you
goes.
for a very long time. When your team shows, when I see when your team shows me what I
Name the team, name the wadders, or what are we doing here? Name the team, name the wadders, or what are we doing here? Team. Can my man even spell team? Come on, man. Don't piss me off.
consider to be at least activity and long-term activity coming from that area, that's what set me off. And I was like, what the fuck is going on?
And I made them. I made them aware of that.
Yeah.
And they're trying to get to the bottom. I will say
hope
that
so.
they're not like no,
has-
just
it
like
has
no,
stopped.
but they are.
But it has
It has stopped.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And
that's
so
all
that-
I wanted out of this.
that's all
Nobody's
you want.
suing or anything like that. Me and Kalila text each other today.
Yeah, I just
It's
want to
over.
drop this shit.
Yeah, no, it's
Like,
over.
this is not me. I have no ill will. I do not want anything bad to happen. I love that guy. Okay.
But B, let
that's
me
the
tell you
way-
this too. Is like, it's over.
Yeah.
That's done with. I have nothing but love for them. You won't hear a negative thing, and nor have you heard a negative thing about them on this podcast. In the 10,000 shows that I've done, no one's ever went at them in any facet. But there's going to be hate and gossip, and people love the podcast drum and stuff like that. It's not what we specialize in.
Yeah.
Nor have we ever done that.
I never pay attention to it, but when my fiance is saying I'm getting
this is all I'm
threats of
telling you, B,
violence-
is like there's that, but those.
Stop using your fiance as a human shield and stop trying to gaslight the audience, mate. You fucked up. It is what it is. Just accept the circumstances. You messed up in a big way, and the internet does what the internet does. They come after you, especially when it's somebody that's somewhat of a sacred cow, somebody that people actually love and actually like. Clearly, they're gonna come after you. It just is the nature of the beast. You swung and you missed. You miscalculated. You might have been able to bully him in a moment, but now it's all come back at you. It is what it is. Bobby's getting an outpouring on love on social media. Every comment or every reply or every post I've seen him post on Twitter, people in the comments are saying, "We're with you, Bobby, we're backing you." His Instagram is full of love. The opposite is going to be true for you, isn't it? Because you're the one who is, by all accounts, responsible for causing him a lot of pain, a lot of misery, a lot of upset. Just accept it. My man's here throwing his new wife and baby flipping into the flipping mix. Like, have some self-respect, man. Just kind of absorb it yourself like a man and take it and keep it moving. God almighty. Absolute lack of cojones. And again, they will talk about being manly and dude things and you don't fuck chicks and all this stuff. But when it comes to actual conflict, when it comes to being in a moment where you actually have to back your beef and you actually stand on something and, whatever it may be, they kind of always tuck tail and cry victim. Both of them. Especially Brendan, Mr. Tough Guy. Actual tough guy in terms of the UFC, legitimate tough guy. Bryan obviously wants to be one, but two guys you'd think who'd be the first to join in and jump in on a scrap if that came to it. But then when they get embarrassed with words, when they get shamed like they did in public, they don't know how to react. They don't know how to accept responsibility and just move on. It's just all this victim stuff. Pathetic.
whoever those extremists that are, and take it from a guy has his black belt and haters.
Yeah.
Those extremists and those guys doing that over the top shit, they're the minority.
Yeah, I
like
know.
you're loved. You know this. So is Bobby. So is Kalila. So am I. Everybody in here, their staff. Everybody's loved. But when you focus on that, you can go down a very, very dark road, and that's not reality.
Yeah.
And also they're gonna send those threats. You know, and
obviously.
say, but
It's just
at the end
awful.
of the day,
For me, I can handle it. It's awful for a woman with a baby at home.
No, you can't handle it. You're so you're crying online. You should have thought about the baby before you went on the phone.
No.
She has nothing to do with it.
Try being married to
She's
me.
The best person.
Try being married to me.
It's really.
It's like being married to the fucking Joker.
Yeah, it's more than.
What? What does that even mean? Married to a Joker. What does that even mean? What? Because everyone hates him. I don't even know what that even means, that analogy. I have no idea what that means. Is that one of his North Korea jokes? Try being married to a Joker. What? Did you just watch it recently or something?
Toxic. It's fucking basically terrorist threats. It's crazy.
Yeah,
So,
man. You're talking about some real.
I've never been on the
extremists.
receiving end of this insanity, and I know a lot of people have. But it's like, whoa, guys. Whoa.
What about when you got accused of rape, brother? Is this man is he trying to retcon that? Is he saying he's getting? It'd be funny, you know, if he thinks he's legitimately getting more hate now than when he was accused of rape, or when he threw Crystalia under the bus and pretended that they weren't friends and deleted all his pictures. That'd be really interesting. Maybe that is the case. Maybe he feels like he's getting more hate now for it.
Whoa. I yelled at a friend of mine on the phone. There's somebody I'd known a long time who I love.
That's not how you operate with friends. You don't get to yell at friends on the phone. You don't get to do that, especially not on this kind of situation. It wasn't even your beef, and you're yelling at them on the phone. Fuck, this is gaslighting 101.
Okay, then I immediately, when I believed him, I go, I believe you, and I tried to call as soon as you spoke to.
No, I know, but you've covered it.
I know.
Brother. You've done it. It's all you can do, brother. I know.
Yeah.
You've covered it. Those people that
I have the text. I showed the text.
You've done all that.
Yeah.
Here's my thing with this. He's
such a wuss, isn't it? He's such a wuss. He's such a wuss. Big baby, innit? He's the way he sits, like he spreads his legs super wide. He's this short man in a little chair. Just grow up, Bryan, man. Like, you're a funny dude as well. It's sad to see him this way. I'm not gonna lie. As a former fan of the show, it's sad to see him this way. Like, he has gone so far down the Brendan's my savior. He's paying my light bill. He's allowing me to keep up my alimony payments. That he's now sat there in a fleece, some jeans and some sandals with his legs spread out, trying to remain dominant. You know, pleading for people online who he doesn't know, random people online who don't matter, right? Homeless cats, to stop giving him mean comments because it's now affecting his family life. Well, really? Affecting your family life, eh?
done that. You've said your piece.
Yeah.
You know, those extremists are looking for reasons to bring you down or bring us down or bring them down.
You don't love him more than I do.
Yeah,
You're
I
not
know.
a bigger fan than I am.
No, we are, mate, because we are. You're not a fan as well. If you were a fan, you wouldn't immediately believe that he's behind, you know, the black ops of destroying Brendan's career. You would maybe say, hey, Brendan, maybe you shouldn't have emailed Kalila. Hey, Brendan, maybe you should chill out and stop, you know, making it this cockamamie lie. But he's the same person that also tried to pretend like that flipping hamstring pull was real. He was there. He saw it with his own eyes. He knows Brendan was lying when he said he pulled his hamstring. He had that race with fucking Chappelle. He didn't pull his hamstring. He just didn't want to lose the race. So he pretended to pull up like his hamstrings were tight where they weren't. At most, he probably had cramp, but he made it seem like he had a flipping torn hamstring. He didn't even have one torn hamstring. He didn't have two. He didn't have one, let alone two. So if he's willing to stand there and pretend like that he actually tore his hamstring, no, it's no surprise that he's actually willing to stand there and pretend that that story about the Reddit thing is true.
But you just can't focus on that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you've said your piece. Now it's up to them to decide what they want to do with it.
Yeah,
That's it, man.
Yeah, come
It's
to me.
over.
Come after me. Don't threaten my family. Come on, guys. Don't scare the shit out of a woman
You're already complaining about you as well and your family. Now he's changing his narrative. Come on.
who's got a baby at home. Please, come on.
It's still hilarious though, isn't it? It's still, again, no family stuff involved, but just as a quick aside, it's still hilarious that a man nearly in his 60s has a newborn baby, isn't it? And no one jokes about it in the LA comedy scene because obviously, Callan's radioactive because of his rape allegations and also because of his connection with Joe Rogan. No one wants to take the piss, but this man is nearly 60 years old and he's got a newborn baby at home and no one can joke about it he's a stand-up comedian, do you know what I mean? And no one's willing to kind of, say some funny jokes here and there about it. 60-year-old man with a newborn baby. Oh, hilarious.
This is where it gets fucking crazy. Stop.
Cowardly
You want to
shit.
come for me? Fine.
Yeah.
And again, we've squashed this. We have squashed this. I love that guy. I love that guy. Okay? So it was a phone call. I yelled at a friend. Bad news. I understand, but we're good. We're good. Let's move on. Can we put this to bed, please? Can we put this to bed?
Is there anything worse than this negative talk?
I hate it.
You know what's crazy to me, B? You know what's crazy to me? There's shows out there. Yeah. There's like big podcasts.
Yeah.
That specialize in just this.
I don't know how they can.
You know who he's talking about here? H3. He's now attempting. If it wasn't bad enough that he went on TigerBelly and tried to play victim, he also threw out some little subtle shots about H3, subtle shots at Annie, and now he's doubling down on it and trying to say that Ethan is a proprietor or is just a drama guy. That's what he is. He's a drama guy. You might not like Ethan, you might not like his personality. I'm not really a fan of the guy. I think he's fucking insufferable. But to say he's a drama guy is hilarious. What would you think of fucking Keemstar? If he thinks Ethan's bad, he's lucky he didn't, come into the line sight of fucking Keemstar in terms of how hard he can go at people and how annoying he can be when it comes to these sort of things. But now he's trying to discredit H3 as a platform by saying all they do is drama.
Do it. The energy.
God bless him.
The negativity.
I respect it.
I don't want to do it.
How do you sleep?
I don't know, man. I can't. I don't like conflict.
No.
I don't like fighting. I don't like, and if you fuck up and if you've been mean to somebody or whatever, you got to own up to it. You got to say sorry. You got to make it right.
Yeah, but like
so that you can, like everybody, you can create a wake. You can create bad energy, right? Like you yell at like your loved one or you get mad at somebody and you fuck things up. And that's going to happen because you're human, right? Sometimes but you got to make it right.
Yep.
You got to fucking make it right.
Yeah, it's just crazy to me. Like there's some shit.
No, but they're going on as if like they had an argument over a parking spot or because they got bumped in the lineup. This is not the reason why people are so pissed off. Like, I love how they're trying to reduce it and trying to take away all meaning and all context around the phone call. The phone call was a culmination of all this nonsense that's happened that was caused by this guy. He caused everything because of his unwillingness to accept responsibility and admit mistakes and just say, I'm sorry and put my hands up. This is why he is now in the firing line and is getting the brunt of the abuse. And now he's trying to, flipping elicit sympathy because his partner is now also getting some of the beef, some of the heat too. But he's the one that started everything. If he just would have accepted responsibility, it wouldn't have been what it was now. Ugh, these people, man.
Shows that's like the clickbait, the TMZ, and
Jesus.
Like the YouTube beefs, and like
I could
all
never.
they do is focus on it, and their views are nutsos, and I'm jealous of that.
Well, I think
but
human beings.
I just can't.
Human beings
can't
love,
do it.
Yeah, people love drama. Like the news. You can't say everything is great. Nobody will listen. You got to say everything is
There you
bad.
go.
Then people. I do it too.
Yeah, but think about the algorithm just in social media in general. Like the negativity rises to the top.
Yeah.
Like if you say.
I just can't get it around my head that this guy was accused of rape not recently, but a few months back. And he's getting himself involved in this. I just don't understand what goes through these people's heads. You're 60 years old, aren't you? Don't you have more sense in your brain, bro? Why are you getting involved in this nonsense? You need to rehabilitate or, repair your image in a big way. That R word is hard to get off you. It's hard to shake. Nearly impossible, I'd imagine. Unless it goes through the court of law. And even then, people will still look at you like, I think he did it. And you're getting yourself involved in these waters. Like, you shouldn't be naming any waters. You should be standing on the flipping coastline with the sandwiches ready and the oranges and stuff. You shouldn't be naming any waters. You shouldn't be partaking in any water play. You should be outside the waters. Away from the waters, in a penthouse somewhere, cooped up in a home, in a car. You shouldn't be anywhere near waters. Jesus Christ, Brian.
Hey, Chin's the best producer in the world. It gets 3 likes from you, me, and Mark.
Yeah, my friend
If
said
you
that.
say Chin is a sociopath serial killer and he's the worst producer, it gets 100 retweets and it's just that's the way social media, unfortunately, the algorithm has made that that people engage with that, and they're not going to engage with the positivity. It's very rare.
Well, that's what happens. The algorithm is happy. So Instagram is happy, Twitter's happy. If there's toxic energy, those platforms are accepted.
No, they don't care.
But who's providing this? The lack of responsibility and accountability. Who provides this? I don't exist if you guys aren't pieces of shit. It's as simple as that. If you're not a piece of shit, I don't exist. If you don't do shitty things, people don't react to your shitty things and then intensify the toxicity by adding their own shitty things on top of it. If you just stop doing shitty stuff, people would usually leave you alone. There's plenty of content creators out there who create amazing stuff, who have got an engaging audiences, who people really look, their audiences look forward to everything they put out. They enjoy the work that they do and they just live a blissful life. There's plenty of them out there because guess what? They put out good vibes. They put out good content. They are intrinsically good people. All of this other stuff just makes no sense.
What it is, as long as there's engagement, they want activity. They don't care what it is. Yes, and so does Fox News and CNN. Like they're 100%. Not doing great stories of positive things.
No, they want to be like, there's a conspiracy.
They're gonna scare you. Here's a murder. You're like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
you think the world's on fire?
I fall for it too. Like everybody loves gossip. Everybody, like if I call you up and I go, I have gossip, you'll call me. I can't even hang up the phone.
I'm like, what's happening?
What's going on? We all want to know.
I wonder why we're like that. I wonder why humans are like that.
I think it takes some pressure off of us, because I think all of us want to be perfect, or we're trying to be. Like there's this perfection syndrome, and then when we find out other people are fucking up, we're like, oh.
All right. When you get into pseudo intellectual thing, I'm out of here. But yeah, it is what it is, isn't it? You brought that energy to Bobby. People are bringing it to you. You can't stand the flipping heat in the kitchen. The orange chicken is flying. You're getting shouted at. It's your first day. You can't find a spatula. You can't find your apron. You're struggling. You're slipping all over the floor. And instead of looking yourself in the mirror and thinking, oh, I'm bad at this job, I should hang up my apron, you're pointing the finger at everybody else in that kitchen and saying, you did this, you should have helped me there, you should have. You're crying and crying and crying and crying. It is what it is. You know what I mean? Just fucking suck it up and move on, mate. Stop being an absolute baby. But hey. Oh, really? Brian turned off his comments on Instagram. Let me see that. Is that true? No way. Let me see that. I still can't believe this guy deleted all the pictures of him and fucking, what's his face? He deleted the pictures of him and, who was it? Him and Crystalia because he didn't want anyone to see. But let's see if this is true. Where is it? Bryan Called. Let's see. You turn up the comments. Oh, you gotta love it. What is it? Oh yeah, look, 0 comments. Okay, yeah, he left the comments on that one, but that's yeah. Okay, we don't do that one, but yeah, the pictures of the one with him and Ruben, no comments allowed. The picture here he's got in front of a something smoke thing, no comments. Oh, what a sad existence, man. These grown men, honestly, these grown fucking men doing the absolute most. I don't get it, man. I really don't. But again, I'm not surprised. It's been a complete shit show of a situation. Hopefully that could be the end. Maybe the last thing we're going to see now is the podcast update with the people from TigerBelly basically reiterating or kind of clarifying what the documents were that he was talking about, what those documents were. Maybe we'll see that coming up. I don't really know. We'll have to wait and see. So that was the Random Show, episode number 30, part 2. I'm going to leave it there. I've got nothing more to add, really. I think we've kind of run through all the flipping videos I wanted to show you. So I'm going to love you and leave you guys because it's getting kind of late over here on this side of the globe. if you are tuning in and you liked what you've heard, why not smash the like button? Smash the like button for me. Come on, help me out and smash that like button. That'd be greatly appreciated. And if you liked what you heard enough to come back a second time, why don't you subscribe? Why don't you subscribe? That would be super helpful to me and will obviously help me grow the channel and will hopefully be a good little sign that you enjoy what I do. So subscribe if you want to do that. That'll be awesome. There's links to the stuff that I do in the description of the show. You can find links to the stuff that I do outside of podcasting. You can find links to my social media and all that good stuff. So get involved on there if you want to do so. The links are in the description. Click away if you must. And what was I going to say? That about it, really. I think, yeah. Obviously, check out my podcast I do. It's called the AgostinhoZinga Show. I think I've already spoken about this many, many times, but I'm going to keep plugging it on here because I've got a captive audience. So why not promote it once more? But check out my podcast. It's called The Fire and the Kid. So The Fire and the Kid. I wish. I don't wish, actually. It's horrible. But anyway, let's continue. My podcast is called The AgostinhoZinga Show. It's available on all places that you get podcasts. It's mostly a cultural commentary podcast where I talk about everything from, art, fashion, sneakers, design, music, stuff that's going on in culture, obviously. Check it out. I put it out usually about 3 times a week, maybe more. Loads of episodes there for you to kind of get your teeth sunk into, so definitely check that out if you can. And yeah, man, apart from that, it's been a pleasure to have your company. I've really enjoyed it. Thank you so much for sticking there with me, and sorry about the first stream crapping out on me. For once, it wasn't my technical fault. It was the fault of the Wi-Fi, which was still my fault, but it wasn't something that I caused because my computer was shit. My Wi-Fi just decided to cut out randomly out of nowhere. But anyway, Eric C keeps fucking, oh mate, I can't wait until United are back, and I want to shove it back in your face, mate. But I do appreciate you being here all the time. So big up Eric C. Keep on reminding me that United are shit. Big up everybody. Really do appreciate you. And yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. It's been a pleasure to have your company, and I'll see you guys again very, very, very soon. But for now, peace.